Hello everyone, this is Michael again with another use case for custom rules with GitLab Duo Agentic Chat on the agent platform. And in this use case, we want to focus on Python, or specifically a web application, a shop app, which we can run locally and want to add more features to that. You can see the project here. It's a GitLab project. It's working. There is GitLab CI/CD configuration for that, Docker Compose, and so on. And this is how it looks like. So it's a pretty basic shop application, but certainly provides a good start. Now we want to add more features, and one of them is to detect and determine the environment information on the admin dashboard, kind of adding the Python version, the Flask version, and so on for debugging, and some metrics and so on. And in order to do that, I want to use GitLab Duo and Agentic Chat for that, and also highlight how to use custom rules in that scenario. So let's quickly switch to Visual Studio Code, where I already checked out the project. So you can see there's the README here in the preview, but we also have the README here. And we also have Agentic Chat on the right-hand side here. So what you can also see in the overview on the left-hand side is we do have a directory here called .gitlab with a subdirectory duo and the chat-rules.md file. This file contains custom rules for our project. And to set the environment right, or to explain the problem that I have, or that we have here is when running Python binaries, the agents or the environment will assume it's by default using a Python binary and not Python 3 or Python 4 or whatever the name might be. In my macOS development environment, I use Homebrew to install a different, more modern version of Python, similar to installing Python on Debian or Ubuntu Linux distributions. You will get a different binary, which is called Python 3, and also a different package dependency manager, which is pip, and then in this case pip3. So what we can do is use custom rules to enforce that and say for any type of Python binary in this regard, we want to use that. Alternatively, we can also instruct the agents to say detect the Python environment automatically when possible. So either we hardcode that, which might not work for all environments, or we kind of say, please do that when possible or when it's not done automatically already. Yeah, so this is something we want to do. We can certainly ask how to run that application or how to build that, but I wanted to create a more cohesive use case and say, well, let's actually extract the Python 3 binaries and how it's called and present it to the user. So we want to implement a new feature. And switching back here, we have this information, we have this issue, and it's called issue number 1. Let's remember that and navigate into GitLab Duo Agentic Chat over here, which is part of the GitLab Duo Agent platform beta, which you need to have enabled for running this either on gitlab.com or on your self-managed instance at the time of this recording. And then let's say, please help me implement issue 1. So you can reference just the issue number here. You could also paste the full URL or give more text instructions, but this kind of really shows the deep integration of GitLab Duo from the IDE to the GitLab platform. What you can see here is it's using the user instructions. So the chat rules are put into context of the chat, and then it starts automatically reading issue number 1 in the project, fetches the information it needs, starts analyzing the directory, and it's moving fast. So it's running in parallel in the background and starts essentially with the implementation in that issue. So while it's moving, let's see what it does. It actually started to I actually had a bug in my source code. It starts to fix a bug which I had in the source code, which is great. And then continues to implement the front end. So the HTML admin system info is missing, and continues with like adding or implementing the admin system information view. The agents come to the conclusion that they need to add a custom filter for timestamp conversion, whatever this means. We will see that in a bit, but it's certainly interesting to see them move forward. There's also PSUtil being in use now, which is a tool kind of to determine local information. And then we want to enhance the Flask version information more prominently, which probably already exists, maybe. But yeah, let's see what it does. Actually, we have a specific view here which it created. So we can actually follow live what the changes are. So you can see like what happens here, or better yet, if you navigate into the source control menu, you can immediately see the different changes it made. It also updated the requirements where the admin system info panel and prints out the Python runtime bush information here. Adds more Flask information. I mean, you certainly shouldn't expose that in production, but it can be helpful for development and debugging. So when implementing that feature, let's make sure that it's not exposed in production. So it probably should have a feature flag or a configuration setting and disabled by default. So we get more insights into everything that is running. Memory information, it actually implements more than I asked it to, but it's sometimes LLM and agents tend to overshoot. Now, what it does on the right-hand side, it wants to execute a command. So what it did is it detected from the rules automatically to use Python 3, and as an argument, it kind of runs Python code. So it tries to import the application and then print that. So let's run that. And you can see it opens up the Python environment, creates or detects the virtual env that exists for this project, and then also uses the correct pip3 binary to install the required packages, because it added something into the requirements text file. Let's approve that as well, and then see what happens next. It now creates the virtual environment. Okay. It detected that it probably doesn't have that environment yet. It creates it for us, also using the correct binary. And now it runs the activation script and then runs pip3 install again. Oh, this is great. This is causing me so much headaches. I mean, I understand why you should use Python and virtual environments by default, but I cannot remember the syntax in my life. So it's now running the entire combined command for that, and I think the reason is because every agent is working on its own, so it's combining the activation and running Python 3 tests. So it wants to run the tests now, and everything is happening in order to ensure that the changes to the source code are actually working. And it's now adding a test for the new route that has been added, which is also a good way. So it's creating, it created a new file, so we can actually click here and see what it does. And the next thing is to actually run PyTests with that specific functionality, or with that specific, I think this calls a class something. Anyhow, probably you need to stop the recording and kind of see what happens here. It's now running another step of tests. So it's very, very focused on ensuring that all the changes work, and also verifies that all the tests are passing. So I don't need to run that myself. Now it wants to run the application itself, which which is a service which can be run in foreground. And now it sets a timeout of 5. So it kind of runs that in foreground, and after 5 seconds, it terminates that, which is a great way to test in CI/CD, for example, as well, next to running in agents context. It created now it's finished, and it wants to create a summary comment on the issue to document what has been implemented. And this is a great way to not only have the context here in your chat prompt, but get immediately an insight. Now what you recognize here is this is very verbose, so you can actually see the markdown, not so much formatted, but this is a markdown context that will get added to the issue as a comment, which we need to approve. So every time there is an action that requires more permissions, GitLab Duo Agentic Chat will ask for that. Certainly there might be coming more refined rules to kind of approve that for a session or something else. But for now, you need to approve these actions in Agentic Chat. Next, it will create an implementation summary here in the chat prompt as well, and tell us what it did. So it enhanced the admin system route, added the Python runtime information, also detected the Python binary, which was essentially for this showcase to use Python 3 from the development style guide or from the custom rules that we had defined. And then add everything in there and added more tests. All tests are passing, so we didn't need to run any tests ourselves, which is also great, that agents can act on behalf of us. And now it created that. Let's quickly change to the GitLab view again, and you can see it's using my identity here. So I'm authenticated in Visual Studio Code with GitLab Duo against the GitLab server, and it created the comment with the summary. We have the new route and so on. It also fixed an important bug, which I think I did before I was starting the recording somehow. So it's great to also have that extra level of help, which was not planned. Add all the different features and also ensure it's providing us with that. Now what we can do is, or what we want to do is, how to run the app. Just ask that, and it should come up with a response for us. Or maybe even start running the application. This is actually, the app uses Python 3 and pip3 as specified in your development style guide. We could certainly remove that and not use it, but let's quickly go ahead and just copy that for now here into our environment, then install the dependencies, and you can see it uses the correct binaries. Essentially everything is installed already. Use the main runner script. I don't care. Let's run that. Now we have that running, and we can open that, and you can see we have the shop here, and the admin interface has a new button which is system info, and this didn't exist before. This is amazing, and I'm not a web developer, so this is actually really helpful for me to get something going relatively easy. So we see the Python version, we see the executable path, which is like in that virtual environment. We can see, what else can you see? A lot of insight on my system. So my disk is running full, need to fix that. System information, macOS, and so on. Okay, this is actually a really great way. So to summarize what we did here is, we started out with an existing Python project, which needs to use different Python binaries, and the use case was to kind of create a system view for the different environment information and ensure that it always uses Python 3 and pip3. which it did, and we were able to implement the changes, or GitLab Duo Agentic Chat implemented a new dashboard for the system view, and it also showed us how to run this locally on our terminal, and we were able to verify the changes in our development environment. So it's provided proof that custom rules work the way as intended. There will be a blog post coming up for this use case and many more use cases with GitLab Duo Agent Platform and custom rules. So I will add that to the description later on. Until then, I hope this was useful for you. I hope you have a great day wherever you are in the world. And we will see each other in the next use case. Bye-bye.